is up, guys? Jake here with the next morning Vainglory video. Hope you guys are having a great weekend and hope you enjoy this one. The action in the background, the questions that I picked to answer. If you want your question answered, please leave me a question in the comment section below for future videos. I will do my best to get to them, try to make them concise. I've got to read them. I've got to get to them, get through them. So don't make them too overly long and you'll have a better shot of getting your question read and answered on the next one. So first one comes to us from what is that? Lake Place? How do you say that? Lake Place. What do you think about people at POA? Like, do POA people think they are way too good for other players? I don't, it's a general question. I'm in POA. I'm in POA Silver, and I don't think I'm too good for other players at all. I get wrecked on a regular basis by other POA players, by Vainglory players. So yeah, I think you couldn't say that about all of them. There probably are some that think they're really, really good, but they just haven't probably seen the next level. Just like in many games, there's always that next level. There's always those people that are better, that just continue to get better and push the envelope. And as a POA player, I wouldn't think that POA players think they're there. I don't even get to play this game a lot. Unfortunately, I would love to play it more. I play it pretty much daily, but for an hour maybe, something like that, 2 hours tops. That's a good day. And there's guys that play 6, 7, 8 hours a day. They're much better. They're much more knowledgeable. Just on and on and on. So I don't think you could brush every POA player with that stroke and say that they think they're too good for other players. I'm sure there are some though, and you might have ran into some of those. So just ignore them. Move on. We all still have a lot to learn, or a lot of us do. Besides those guys at the very, very top of the game. Martin Riviera, what's your view on trying to go for a Kraken steal with a numbers disadvantage? I particularly never go for it and always get rage pinged. Man, I think you're doing the right thing. There are very few scenarios when I would say, yeah, go for the steal. If it's 3v3 and you can immediately fight them afterwards, then always contest it. The problem, what you see is you got one guy that's alive. They get into a team fight. You lose 2v1, or two for nothing, and they're taking the Kraken. He's going to come in there and be the hero and get that last hit and steal it. I would say 85–90% of the time that does not work, and all you've done is give them another kill. So now when they get this Kraken push going, it's 2v3 instead of 3v3. Now the time that I would say you almost have to is if maybe you've got one turret left and they're about to take the Kraken, and it's game. If you don't steal it, maybe they're ahead. There's a lot of things that go into that, but I would say more times than not, my advice would be to try to fall back, maybe grab a little quick farm in the lane or the jungle while you know they're going to take it, get that infusion, and try to hold them off, because a lot of people don't really know how to properly push a Kraken. They get too aggressive. They think it's over, or they're just pumped up because they want that win. They want to finish. And it's just they go too quickly, and it's just a matter of all of a sudden you've aced them, taking the Kraken, and that's a huge gold swing that you have an actual chance to come back on. You get that bounty gold, you get the Kraken gold, and even if you just got one turret left, you're back in the game all of a sudden. You go back down, you ace them. I've seen it many times. You ace them. You go back down, you beat them into a good position, and they're a little bit off kilter because they had a bad fight, or they're a little bit worried. They want to get back out there. You're able to double infuse because you just took all that gold. Maybe buy another inline item, double infuse up, and all of a sudden you beat them again, and now the game's in your favor, and you turn around and win the game. So more times than not, it's best to just get ready for the Kraken push. Try to pick a good spot to pick a fight. Let them overextend potentially and take them out, and then try to turn the game around with that. You have a better chance of turning the game around with a bad Kraken push than you do for stealing it and being the hero and it going your way. Because often what will happen, even if you steal it, they kill it before it even takes down a turret. You just give them 500 gold. So yeah, I ignore the pings. You're doing the right thing more times than not. The iOS gamer, hey Jake, morning glory question. Do you believe the roamers have a little too much damage to their kit? I often play in the lane, and sometimes I just get ganked by a roam hero that has absolutely no weapon or crystal items. I personally feel like the purpose of roam is to keep the other teammates alive, and that they shouldn't be able to deal as much damage. I'm curious to hear what you think. I think that Stormguard banner, especially on a few select heroes, is a little bit overpowered. it does do a tremendous amount of damage. And sometimes I've done that. I die and I'm thinking, what in the world does he have? Did the Arden build a tension bow or an aftershock? And you look at them, and no, all they've got Stormguard banner. So yeah, I think they might have a little too much on the damage side, but you have to understand in the new state of this game, the reason they did it is because they wanted people to want to play Rome heroes, and nobody wanted to play a hero that just sort of walked around and supported other people. Now, that being said, as the builds get more complex, as they release these new items, and there's different things that a Rome can provide besides a reflex block and a fountain, which is essentially all they had when they put the Stormguard in the game like it is now in its current state. That's really all they could bring to the fight: a reflex block and a fountain. What else are they going to do? Possibly an ability to help. Besides that, they were sort of just out there. And I think they did that as a short-term fix, not a long-term fix. So I think in the next, let's say, 2, maybe 3 updates, you're going to see changes of the Rome position in general. What it means to be a Rome, how you build a Rome. You're going to have more choices. Those choices are going to have consequences, both good and bad. It's going to be interesting. So I wouldn't get too shook up about it right now because it's not going to be the way it always is. Hope that answers your question. Sam Don, morning VG question. Do you think it would be cool if SEMC made it possible to do 4v4 matchups with a new role and new part of the map? Just something I thought was kind of cool. Yeah, obviously, I think if the game continues to grow like it is, I mean, this game's growing leaps and bounds, and it will continue to do that, I believe, then as the future, as things go on, who knows? Different maps, bigger maps, smaller maps, whatever. There's going to be just a plethora of options for them to explore. And I think that a bigger map or, more people with a slightly expanded map, something like that, is going to be a definite something to take a look at because you never know. Now, I think one holdback to that is going to be the hardware that we all play on, the iPad. I think they push the limits as it sits right now anyways, as far as what it can handle graphically and its processing power and, just the data that flows in and out. I think they're already pushing the limits of that. So to do a 5 versus 5 over a 3v3, I think you're going to see that that's a big jump in what is required of the devices we play on. So they could be hemmed up a little bit on that, but they're going to get, you know the deal. Whatever, 3 years they double in power or something like that is something insane. So it's going to get there, but it could take a few years for us to see something like that. Mr. Steelers, hey Jake, can you explain skill swapping for me, like when you don't upgrade an ability on level 5? Yeah, you bet. I've never heard it called skill swapping, but essentially what it means is this. Now, and you're watching in the background a Taka video. I can't remember if I did it on this one or not, but let's say at my Taka, I'm going weapon power, and I hit level 5, okay? Now, I can upgrade my B ability. That's the only option I've got. I've put all my points into my A. I've unlocked my B ability, but I haven't upgraded. It's level 1. I think my A ability is level 3. So, okay, I can upgrade my B ability, or I can hold on to it until I hit level 6 and not use it. Once I hit level 6, then I can upgrade my ultimate. I can unlock it, and then it allows me to skip upgrading my B ability and spend that point in my A ability. So now my A would be level 4, my B and my ultimate would be level 1, just unlocked. So instead of using it in that B ability, which really for a weapon power Taka does not provide you much benefit, you hold on to it. You just don't spend it, and then that way you get quicker towards upgrading and overdriving your A ability like you would want to. So that happens on a lot of different heroes, like on pedal, not using the B for your trampoline. A lot of people do that way. I've seen it done on Arden, on Arden not upgrading their Vainglory because it doesn't really scale that well. But anyways, that's the gist of it. Ability that you don't use, a Ringo, if you're a laner, a Ringo, and you're building a weapon power Ringo, you might skip that upgrading that Achilles shot, that A ability on level 5, and just save it to more quickly get that Twirling Silver, your B ability upgraded and overdriven to get the maximum benefit of it. So that's the gist of it. It's hard to explain it any more than that. I hope that makes sense though. All right, next one comes to us from Mr. Steele. I got another one from Mr. Steele. That's 2 from him. Good questions, bro. Hey Jake, with the Q Battle Royale, do you think it would be cool for it to have its own rank system? Thanks, Jake. Sub since 20K. Thanks for the long time support, bro. And No, I don't. I don't, because it's random. You know what I mean? It's not something that you can really strategize or build a good comp. You might be the best battle royale player out there, but if you get matched up against just that ultimate comp and you got a crap comp, that really doesn't display skill or who's the best. It's more for fun. So I think they should leave it that way. I don't think you ought to see the type of ranking in battle royale, because it's just too much of it is based on that random number generator, that luck, whether you get the good heroes or the bad ones, etc. So I would say no to that. Scott Folsom, Vodka and Vainglory question number 1. This is a guy, I had this question saved for so long, and it just, before I even named the series, and I just been sort of had it in the back and keep forgetting about it, I remember to put it in here. When we start the series, obviously it's already started, in consideration to extend the Vainglory guide series. Would love to see some T4 through Tier 7 guides that touch on topics like position, etiquette, when to take lane minions, blah, blah, blah. Yes to all of that. Okay, I've got an intermediate series that I'm going to start working on very, very soon. Just like you talked about, with the beginner series, the next one's going to be that next step to push through that tier 4, 5, 6, 7, and get into those higher tiers. What teams are going to be able to do at those tiers, and that you've got to be able to do to compete at that level. So it's going to be just that next step. It's not going to be the pro series. It's going to be that next step from the beginner to the intermediate. What you need to know, what you need to be working on, what you need to be thinking about, little things that can make the difference, take you to that next level. So yes, sir, it's coming. Last one's from my patron, Z. Morning VG question. Have you ever been in a situation where you just finished a match and regret that you didn't record it? It would be easier if there were match replays. Yes, absolutely. I've had some matches I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe. Like last night, I was playing with a guy, or not before last. I was playing with a guy, and we was playing with a Ringo, and he disconnected for 7 minutes. Disconnected. This is POA play. It's not like we're just on a casual or tier 6 or something. This is POA. I was POA silver. I can't remember what my other guy was playing. I think he was silver as well. For 7 minutes, our Ringo was not connected. He was just standing there at the base, and we come back and we won the thing. So yeah, I would love to have that recorded. Just didn't happen that way, but maybe next time. But yeah, it happens all the time. It would be great to have replays. I've talked about that before. I don't know if that's coming. It could be I don't know, maybe someday in the future, but I sort of doubt it. I think that would be a massive storage issue that they would have to deal with. The games are so long. All right, guys, that is it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, Jake doing my best to help you guys suck less.